thought you like AGRAJM. You're a fan of it, aren't you?
Why is this happening? Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, you love ADJRMF7M pie.
What?
You love AJDRMSM pie.
What does that mean?
What I'm doing. You love.
Oh, I'm saying, did you hear what I said? My computer keeps like going to sleep.
What's going on with that son of a bitch?
I don't know. It's being weird. How do I?
Time to get a new computer.
It is from the company.
Yeah, get rid of it. Throw it in their face.
Need a new one. Give me a new one.
Well, most places, most businesses, when you need a new laptop, you need a new laptop. And they say, okay, here's a new laptop. They don't say, oh, well, that's all we've got.
Well, they've never done that with me so far.
Can't really keep up with the times. We only have 3 laptops for the whole company. We're going to have to stop paying you for 90 days. If that, meaning it's definitely going to be 90, but it could be forever that we don't pay you again.
Ugh. Well, if they wouldn't do that.
I don't know what the rule is. Do you have to be rehired at that point? Is it, in essence, a firing and a rehiring? Does there need to be special approval from somebody?
God.
Because that's what it's coming up to at the radio
and there's
station.
Nobody there to back you up.
No, it's just kind of it for the time being.
When does that start?
December 9th is the last day.
Oh my God.
I know. What is that? It's like 1 week.
Oh my God.
2 weeks.
It's so annoying.
2 weeks.
Sorry. It's really stupid.
Well, you got to play these games. Nothing like an industry where you have to play games. Oh, I've been hired, but I don't really want to call attention to the fact that in 90 days, because I'm hired by a third party, that's coming to an end for whatever legal reasons. I have to take a 90-day break, which usually are in place because companies will abuse the third-party payroll company where they just keep people employed for years and years and they don't offer them benefits or any of the things that full-time employees get. But, that's not what this situation is. It has nothing to do with that. I log 3 hours a week, so who cares? I should be able to say I don't want benefits. I don't need any of it. I'm fine with the way this is going. I don't feel taken advantage of. But, so I have to navigate that. And then on the flip side, you could say, why don't they just make you part-time for real? And that ain't ever going to happen. There's people.
Why is that? Why won't they?
There's people who don't even know that I get paid, I'm sure. And then the moment it's flagged to them, like, we pay this guy? End it now. So I don't want to call attention to it. The industry, radio.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's crazy of me for not wanting to have stayed in that industry.
Yep. You abandoned us, Greg.
You didn't believe. It has nothing to do with. I didn't believe in radio. That's what I didn't believe in.
Ugh.
Rightly so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who's the winner now?
It doesn't matter. There was an article that went around that a European investment firm wants to buy the company I work for because they want to get into the American media market. The moment these fucking bankers, these money people get in, I mean, radio was bad enough before investment companies started buying up radio stations because companies like Clear Channel overextended themselves and said, we want to be the largest radio station owner in the world. And then they did it. They leveraged everything they could. And then we're in massive debt. So they had to cut corners. But the moment you get money people in, it's even worse.
Yeah, because they don't look at how it started and why it existed in the first place and what it does. Like what the product actually is. It's just like, optimize it all.
Yeah, they do not give a shit. It's funny how you think at certain points over like the past couple decades that I've been working and in radio, and you think, oh, it can't get worse than this. But yep, there are ways it gets worse. It just continues to get worse.
Yeah. I'm pretty disillusioned.
Well, I hope, my company's not for sale, they say, but there's always a price.
Didn't they just have a merger or something?
Yeah, we just merged. Vox and Group 9
Yeah.
merged. But that was
So
more.
they would do that right away?
It's a totally different thing. A merger was a move to stay viable and ahead of the curve in the online media landscape.
Mm-hmm.
This would just be rich people coming
an
in.
acquisition.
Yeah, wanting, for whatever reason, to be in the American media market. European investment firm wants to be in the American media market. I don't know what the fuck their intentions are other than clout. And, they get in, and then what the fuck do they care? It's funny that these companies are built on original content, writing, podcasts, videos. That's what makes them popular. And then when new owners come in, the first things they say, cut all that stuff that made this popular in the first place. It's popular already. We're done with that part of the game. Now we'll just serve up steaming piles of shit to anyone who consumes our media, and they'll deal with it because of name recognition. So cut all the editorial, cut all the costs. Wonderful. Brilliant. What a brilliant business plan.
What art?
I mean, that's the road we're on. Hospitals are for profit. Hospitals not making enough money. What the fuck? I know that there's money that goes into running a hospital, but the moment a hospital is a money maker, there's conflict. There's conflicting motivations at play, and it's pretty fucked up. For-profit prisons, for-profit hospitals. I don't know what's next. That's why no one should have kids.
Why?
Because what are they going to do with their lives?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Gen Alpha will. Well, they say that like Gen Z is going to yassify everything, which sounds awesome.
What the fuck does that mean? That does not sound awesome.
Yeah, it just means like, let's. We're going to bring in a lot of different perspectives and points of view now, instead of it being just the oldest fucking people on Earth in charge of everything.
That's called yassify. Oh my god, that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard, and I don't care.
Well, it's
if
kind
that
of a
puts
joke. I don't know if it's not called that. That's just what people are saying.
You can't really inflict change if you're riding the wave of a joke and a dumb thing called yassify.
You can do it anything.
No,
Gen
you can't.
Z can do anything.
Also, yeah, just wait until they get their dose of reality. Money. It's all money drives it all. It's only about money. So good luck.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not as I don't feel as pessimistic about the future.
The idea is, oh, well, they need our labor. So that's what we can leverage to get the things that we want. And if, we take our labor away, they don't get to make their money. You always have to look at the money. How can we hit the bottom line, take away money? That's the only time any of these fucking people will listen. And, you're at the point where a lot of these jobs aren't even needed. So they say, you're losing the one thing that you can leverage, which is labor, because we don't even need you. Finding different ways.
Okay.
Yeah, so then it's like, good luck changing things.
Well, they'll go get a different job.
What field is what I'm saying?
I don't know. Listen, I'm not behind this movement. I'm just like, I hope their attitude can bring about change. Because they're going to be a part of the world instead of just observing it in the future.
A tale as old as time. We're gonna change things.
Gen X didn't give a shit.
Because they were just put in a spot where they were told from the start. They were actually the most realistic of the generations. Like, hey, look, they knew from an early age, we're not changing shit. So just sit back and don't even enjoy the ride.
Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Ross.
Woo!
And welcome to another thrilling edition of an improvised, not so structured podcast, which apparently a lot of people don't have the taste for these days.
Are we losing the structured appeal?
Nah, I don't want to talk about this. I feel like we get into this shit on every episode. I just saw someone's post on Instagram said, I need a new podcast to listen to. Maybe I already even brought this up. It's just been lingering in my brain for a couple weeks now. And there were some demands placed on what that new podcast was. And it was nothing true crime, though there was a small window. It could be if it was well done, whatever the fuck that means. And nothing unstructured or improvised or conversational.
Oh.
So, there's a trend towards well thought out, researched, informative, educational podcasts.
A trend because one person said it?
Which is not, they posted it.
Okay. I guess that means the majority.
What do you think polling is? They ask 6 people and then they apply
Those
that.
6 people are representative of the whole.
They apply that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to bring this up again, it comes up often. I don't think that we need to take a look under the hood. It's just a neurosis manifesting, thinking of this person who I kind of know, who I used to work with. If only she knew that I did this podcast, I get an upturn of her big schnoz. It's not actually big. That was just for.
Oh, you just wanted to emphasize the turning up of the nose.
Yeah. If she had a big schnoz, I don't think I would have said anything because she's probably sensitive about the big schnoz.
That's why I was surprised that you said it at all, because I thought maybe she really does have a schnozzle.
I know. I get it. The commenting on the schnoz.
And also what that might imply.
When somebody told me that I had a Jew nose in 7th grade, 8th grade. It was 8th grade. It was 8th. And then I proceeded to break my own nose because their words stuck with me. Sticks and stones will break my bones. Your words won't hurt me directly, but I'll take a weightlifting set and put it on the bridge of my nose until I hear a snap of the bones.
Please make that rhyme better.
I was hoping
because it was really unsatisfying the way you just told the rest of the story.
Well, I was hoping something would come to mind, but nothing did. That's why I can't do these freestyle rap battles. That's why I've never entered one. I'm not good.
It would just be like, hey, look at you. You have shoes on that I don't like. Your clothes are different than mine.
What rhymes with directly? See, that's the problem. I set it up so the word I needed to rhyme was directly.
Yeah.
And then kind of limited my options. I know there's plenty of words that rhyme with directly.
Does it have to rhyme with the Lee part or ectly?
Rhymes with directly. Rhyme Zone will tell us correctly. Indirectly.
All right, ectly.
Man, I could have used ineptly. I mean, to me, that's not a perfect rhyme.
So I tried to change it ineptly.
Yeah, something like that.
By breaking my nose.
Because of the comment of some little fucking shit. God knows where that scum bastard is these days. Probably a real fucking failure, but he doesn't remember he said these words. You're a pussy, Greg. How dare you let someone else's words? That's the problem with your generation, pussy. That's why you'll never get anywhere in life. I'll never have a $600 meal. Now, will I?
Nope, sure won't. Because you and your generation doesn't know how to work.
You're really stuck on that whole thing.
Yeah.
The laziness of your generation. The laziest around, Autumn. There used to be a time in this country then that pride and work were directly related, and you were worth less. You held zero.
Directly.
You held zero value if you weren't working, contributing to lining the pockets of someone in some way.
Right.
If you weren't doing that, what's the purpose? What's the point? Why are you here? And you're questioning that, and your questioning shows me that you're fucking lazy.
Yeah. It's true.
Get to work.
Mm-hmm. Any questioning of anything should be frowned upon when it comes to the old ways.
If you want to go to the country club, to the yacht club, if you want to be on the other side of things, what you long for, you wish you were at the table, not serving the table at the yacht club. You wish you had your own yacht, a sailboat, maybe. Are there There are people with sailboats who claim that they're rich. And I'm not saying that the upkeep of a sailboat is something that just any normal person can do, especially when you live in a city and the marina charges are high. And I know that still costs money to own a sailboat, but it ain't no yacht.
Yeah, I think to be a member, you have to show an expressed interest in sailing or yachting.
All right, so any boat. Really
Like you have to own a boat. And there are some members that they want to be a part of the club. And so they're just like, okay, they just buy like a dumb boat. And they say like, here it is.
What, so you can get a paddle boat and suddenly you're in
No, not a paddle boat, but it has to be like a certain like size or like there's like a minimum, I think.
For people who don't know what the hell we're talking about, you work at a yacht club.
Yes, I do.
And you serve these people.
The entrance to be considered a member is a non-refundable $18K.
Just to be considered.
Just to be considered.
Are there any percentages tied to this? Do you know how many people who apply get it approved?
No, I don't. But there's an 8-year waiting list because people who are members either they usually just die, and then a membership opens up.
So do you have to put in the $18K to get on the waiting list?
Yes.
So here's $18K. I'm not going to see this for at least 8 years.
Possibly 8 years, yeah.
Well, not that you're going to see it again, but I'm not going to see any benefits of this $8K entrance to the yacht club.
I mean, they might already be friends of members so that they can join other members. But especially like local lawyers and stuff join. And that's just for networking and stuff. And sometimes there are dual memberships at our club and then like Eastport or something that's down the street.
Oh, that's the poor one. Eastport. That's only $7K.
I asked I'd never heard of it. And I was like, what's Eastport? It was mentioned just casually in one of the meetings. And they said, oh, yeah, it's the other yacht club. Blah, blah, blah. There are a lot of members over there also. But they said it's more earthy. I'm like, what's that mean?
Well, what are the membership fees to get into East Club? At least
I'm not
to be
sure.
Considered.
I'm not sure.
Is there snobbery towards it? Do the people talk about it with disdain? They say East Club.
I don't know. I've never heard the other members talk about other clubs, but they do talk about the main club versus mine, which is the activity center. And
oh, Jesus, yours sounds like a Y. It's like the YMCA, the activity center. I would look down on that one too. So there's a division within the club. There
is, but some people they prefer the main club because it is a place to take clients. It's a place to really go for it and impress your people. Very expensive wines. I think the menu prices are different. They have different menu items, but our club is more family friendly. However, there are still a lot of rules. There are no cell phones at the table. There's only collared shirts, no jeans. Shit like that. But ours has sailing lessons down at the docks, and there's a gym, and there's like a kids area upstairs, and then there's the pool, the outside bar, and then the cafe that is open in the summertime, and then our big restaurant.
The things that are important in life.
It's crazy. I was saying, people spend $600 on these dinners.
That's what you're saying. I would never have a $600. And despite this dinner, despite this idea that I'm rich, which I'm not, but I would never have a $600 fucking dinner, even if I were rich. Look, it's easy to say, I know. Something would have to change, though. I don't care about food that much. The fact that I went to dinner last night, and for two of us, it was $100. And the only reason I went out was because my friend Matt was in town and he wanted to go out. And so 4 of us went out. And I was talking to Christina. I was like, when's the last time we went to a restaurant? And then I was thinking about how I was probably failing the relationship because people like to go out to restaurants. And food to me, who gives a shit? Something I have to do. She
kind of feels the same way, right?
Yeah, I think going out, though, because when you go out and do things, it's limited for the most part. If you go out at night, you're going to go drink. You can go to a movie. I guess you go to the theater if you live here in New York. Go to Broadway. You're going to eat. So, removing food in a restaurant from the equation. And I don't want to go drink all the time.
Right.
And there's only so many movies. And some people claim that going to movies isn't even an engaging thing because you're sitting there in silence together. But whatever.
Well, if you both enjoy it, that's engaging. It's fine.
Yeah, but going to the restaurant, it's like paying extra for something I have to do to stay alive. You're in essence holding me not hostage because I chose to come in. So, let me choose my words correctly here. Let me not throw hostage around. But in general, it's like I have to eat. I'm kind of at the mercy of you and your prices. So, not with a restaurant. That's why I don't go to restaurants, because I don't value food that much, or the service that comes along with it, or the preparation. I don't get into the chefs or the different styles of cooking, or the way the food could taste different than something I could get from fast food. I don't snooze fest. So at some point, eating out, don't want to dismiss it completely. There's that whole cultural side of it, but it is a status thing too. And so I can see someone liking spending $600 on a meal because they can tell other people they had $600 meal.
I guess so. I feel like a lot of what I see is people just being together and kind of getting a little like sauced.
Hey, you could do that for cheap somewhere else. But there's this level of dignity, I guess, when if you're coming from means. Like, we can't just go to the old bar and get sauced. We have to do it in a setting that is appropriate. The yacht
that's true.
club.
We need a really good old fashioned.
So you're saying that the best old fashioned in town is at the yacht club?
No, but if you're going to go to like some bar, you're not going to get a good old fashioned. They don't have the I don't know. They don't have the the Luxardo cherries, let's say.
I don't know what those are. I don't necessarily
Luxardo
care.
cherries are very expensive, but amazingly delicious.
Why?
I don't know. I think they're from France.
Is it like
they're in a syrup. That's
like
good.
The coffee that the cat eats and shits out?
Yeah. I don't think it's a cat. I think it's like a lemur or something.
I picked these coffee beans.
I don't know if it's a cat. Maybe it is.
Out of the cat's poop. And now we will brew it and drink it. Oh, yes. This is what being rich is about.
Cat poop.
This is what having money is about. The delicacies that aren't accessible to the common folk. If it's accessible, if it's accessible to everyone, it's not luxury. If the idiots have access, then it's not luxury.
I actually had a table last night. They were like a 12 top. So, it takes a lot of work to...
Hope they tipped.
My stuff is automatically tipped no matter what. So
I hope they tipped on top of it. Hope they
No, they didn't.
Well, come on.
That's fine. It was $100 tip automatically on there.
That's pretty nice.
Yeah. I was going to say, though, I forgot until she was like halfway through her dinner, her like side of mayonnaise and side of ketchup.
Oh God,
that's what I'm saying. So I was like,
elite.
I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm so sorry. I forgot. Whatever. And she's like, it's all right. First world problems. I was like, oh, that's nice.
I mean, that's nice of her to say, but those are more like third world problems. I think even the third world has mayonnaise.
Well, the fact that they couldn't have the mayonnaise with their dinner. Like,
yes.
I appreciated what,
Condiments of the rich and famous.
Not that the condiment is famous or for rich people.
Well, that's
what I'm saying.
That's what's funny to me, that they don't even, quite often mayonnaise is dressed up in different ways. That makes
it an aioli.
Yeah, it's still mayo, but you get to fool these rich people and to think they're getting something a little fancier, a little special than plain straight up mayo or Miracle Whip.
It's in one of those Cisco like tubs of mayonnaise, and it was almost empty, and so I had to get a long dessert spoon and like plunge my hand.
How old was this?
Huh?
That's disgusting. How old was this mayonnaise?
How old was it?
Yeah, if you're getting to the bottom of the big tub, the 5-gallon tub.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or is it only a gallon? How big is that thing?
Probably a gallon. But still, that's a lot of mayonnaise. So I had to like plunge my hand inside of it, and it's getting all over like my knuckles and my wrist, and I had to like scoop out, like scrape, because I didn't have time to run downstairs like forget the key, run back upstairs, grab the key, come downstairs, go into the dry storage, find the mayonnaise, bring it back up, open up the foil thing on top and pour it out, squish it out into whatever. So it's just scraping this mayonnaise. It was gross.
Well, they're getting what they pay for. Oh, actually, they're not. They're not getting close to what they pay for. But
they didn't pay for it. Only the oldest woman at the table paid for it. Mom. It was like the mom of.
I know, just
people.
in general, that $18K up front, and then what is the yearly fee? God only knows.
Well, not just yearly, but there's monthly dues. And if you, I think I've said it before, but if you are late with your monthly dues, then they put your picture up on a board and publicly shame you.
Wow. What picture do they use? Do they have like
the membership, like when you join, the picture they take of you?
Is it a bulletin board? Is it glass enclosed?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. It's in the, I think it's at the main club.
That's wild.
I know. Isn't that funny?
Look, within the rules of that setting, I can speak about it in the generalized terms, but within the rules of that setting, sure, if you're not doing the things you're supposed to do, especially when status and elitism is coming into play, there's nothing that says you don't deserve your status than not paying your dues. So nobody wants to be on that wall of shame.
There's monthly dues, and then there's quarterly minimums that you have to hit as far as like how much money you spend at the clubs.
I guess you just, at some point, you just have to spend your money. You have so much money that there aren't things to realistically, yes, you could get cars and houses, but there's upkeep. These people got boats, I guess, so they invested in that. But at some point, it's like, hey, you know what? I don't know. The material possessions, I've got what I want. I have what I need. What else can I blow this money on that'll impress other people?
I guess, part of it is let's own it. Let's be part of a club.
I say that I wouldn't spend $600 on a meal. And in a vacuum, I wouldn't. I don't think, there's two totally separate things coming into play here. Again, there are people, to me, if I say, the food isn't worth it, there's no $600 meal that's worth it. There's a lot of people who'd argue that, of all means. They'd say, you're insane. Food is totally worth it. And that's a fair assessment. We just have differing opinions, and I guess there's no right or wrong. And then the other thing is just $600 in general on a meal outside of food just seems like a waste of money, even if food was really, really good. And I think that plays into the monetary side of it. But I was going to say, I think I won't spend $600 on a meal, but maybe I would. Because
you spend $600 on other things that someone else may feel is not important.
True. But what I was going to say with the meal is I could see myself being in a spot where if I did have money, I'd be happy to pick up the bill. It's like, it's fine. I got it.
Right. There you go.
Because I like spending money. To me, there's two sides to money. And it's pretty black and white. It's either I'm worrying about it or I'm not.
Yeah.
And there's a level. Obviously, you can push that line. Where's that line between worry and not worrying? And you can start to spend money on other things, or you could go out to decadent meals and really get to the limit where it's like, okay, I'm spending too much, I'm worrying again. But if I'm not close to the line of worrying, then I tend to just, I feel okay spending money on people is what I'm saying.
Right.
So I could see a meal being worth it. And I wouldn't be trying to show off, though. Then I'd have to give the speech where it's like, I'm not doing this because I am trying to show you that I got the money. I wish there was a way you could do it in secret. Nobody would ever know.
Well, you kind of can, because some people just don't want to sign their checks. And they don't really have to. The reason why we ask them to is because lately there have been people that have been disputing what's been on their bill, but then they didn't sign their checks when they leaved.
You're on the right side at that yacht club.
I guess so.
Just serving.
Are y'all going to leave yet? But yeah, you could just be like, all right, let's go. Oh, there was this one couple. It was such an awkward table. It was a husband and a wife, and then a husband and a wife. The one husband and wife were members, and the others were not. They were just guests. And
what were they wearing? Could you tell? Were they trying too hard?
Tell.
They were trying too hard.
No, but the people that weren't members, the husband kept trying to pay. He continued to try and pay. He kept But he was like weird. He had like 1,000-yard stare, and he looked like his face. It's almost like his eyes are like Joe Biden's, where it's like, where was your face burned at one point and now your eyes are too small? It was weird looking. But he kept like looking at you like, I'm gonna pay. Don't you let him pay. I'm gonna pay. And then the members were like, no, it's not, it doesn't work like that. We are the members. We're gonna pay. And you could tell, like, he would not stop. Every time I saw him, he was trying to tell me. And his wife was annoyed, and the other couples were annoyed.
Maybe he felt lesser than. Maybe
it was not a fun dinner. And so then eventually, the wife was like waiting for the husband or something. They had both gotten up from the table, and the two members, and she was like, just give my husband the check when he comes out of the bathroom. And I was like, okay. But then when I was like, all right, thank you so much, everybody. You know, he was like, did we pay? Like, it's taken care of. You know, here, take my credit card. I was like, it's okay. We're all done. It was so awkward.
Maybe he felt lesser than. He got dragged to this club that he couldn't be a member of. These other people are flaunting it in his face. You couldn't get into this place unless you were with us, and he wants to prove his manlyhood somehow.
Don't put that on me.
Because he still abides by the hard work is good for the soul and makes you a good, productive member of society and sets your worth. And I worked hard my whole life, and while I don't have that much money, I will spend it to prove to you that I have value.
Yeah.
And the yacht club guy says, no. And he's taking away that guy's manlyhood. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, but that's between you guys. You know what I mean? Don't put it on me. Like, figure that out when you're in the car together. Figure that out at the table before all of this. You know, take no for an answer. And like, get some cash out of the ATM and mail it to him or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, don't put it on me to have to navigate your weird, awkward feelings.
There's a thing about paying going out to eat. And I think it's with my parents or with other people's parents when there's older people at the table. And there's still this hierarchy that comes into play where the older people quite often will pay. They seemingly want to pay. And as I get older, I don't want to move into that role. Like, I know I just said that if I had the money, I'd be happy to pay. And that's because it's coming from me. It's like, oh, I would like to do this nice thing. But the moment I feel as though I should be doing it, it changes everything. And is that like a set rule where the older people will usually pay? And, you know, when the fact I haven't gotten married and I'm 40, that still puts me in situations sometimes, especially through all the years where you're going out with people's parents and you're fully an adult yourself. And the parents are saying, we got this. And you're like, hey, okay, this was nice when I was 20 because I didn't have any money. But I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel a need to. I really do the thing where it's like I will offer to pay, and I'm hoping that they say, no, it's fine. And if they took me up on it, I'd be kind of disappointed. And
like, oh, man.
Yeah, okay, I'm paying for this now. But, you know, I wouldn't hold it against them.
Of course.
Like, one of my favorite scenes ever was in The Squid and the Whale when Jeff Daniels goes out to eat with his son and his son's girlfriend, and she offers him some cash at the end of the meal. And it's like a cheap meal. I think it's Chinese food or something. And she's not offering to pay for the whole thing. She's just offering him some cash, and he takes it. He grabs it from this teenage girl because he's that kind of guy. He's in a spot where I think he's struggling a bit with money because there's a divorce in the movie and things like that. But I really liked the fact he took the money.
I think if you have the means, it doesn't really matter how old you are, then you should offer to pay. You know, like, I think right now, if I were out with my parents, I think previously I would offer to pay or split it or pay for mine, and hope that they would say no and just pay for the whole thing. But now I feel like I would want to pay for the whole thing, including theirs.
Which seems to be the move most people want.
But that's only because
category they fall into.
That's because I'm making my bag. You know, working all these jobs.
Yeah, and people want to treat other people and maybe show off a bit that you've got the money. Not me.
No. I'm not trying to show off.
Somewhere inside, that's a thing. It's like, look, I've got the money to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm not saying it's flat out, I'm better than you because I have the money. But someone like you seem to be a bit proud that you're making more money these days. You're working hard to make all the money, but you know, you're getting a little bit more money and maybe it's a way to show that. It's like, hey, look at this. I'm in a spot finally where
That's more like my own stuff, where it's like, oh, I see something on Amazon that I want. Hold on, let me look at my bank account. Ooh, it's $75 and it's Monday and I don't get paid until Friday, so I can't get it. But now it's like, oh, I can get it. You know?
Yeah.
It's more personal. But for them, like my mom was saying, so my friend Susanna lent her a Christmas tree that my mom is gonna use for displaying her craft at these craft shows. But it's a 7-foot tree and it's too big. So she was saying, like, we really just need like a 4-foot tree. And I was like, well, how much are the trees?
Flocked? Are you gonna get flocked?
No, probably not. Because you want they're these ice skaters, these ornament ice skaters that she makes that are really cool. And yeah, she was saying, well, that 7-foot tree was like $40. I'm like, oh. And she was like, well, we only need a 4-foot one. And I was thinking, well, even if the 4-foot one is $40, I'll give you 40, like I'll pay for it. And she's like, I just don't want to spend any more money because da, 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 da. I said, well, you have to invest in, now you're making this a business. I said, investing in it does make sense. You do have to do that. And if it's $40, like I throw $40 around.
It's not that much.
It's not right. But they're like, no, it's just too much. And they do come from a different like school of spending, you know, where, you know, just like your boomer parents that keep their same knife set since you were a child. They still have the same knives.
Yeah, you know, not my parents. They throw shit away. No, I mean, I'm not saying that people keep their knife sets for sentimental reasons. That you're saying because they don't want to spend the money in getting a new knife set. So it's a totally different thing. But I think somewhere along the line too, it does come into play. We've also had that a long time. At least that's a way to justify keeping it on top of not.
It could be. I'm not sure if my parents think like that, but
my parents throw everything away.
Oh, my parents do.
Look at this basket of toys. That was Greg's when he was a kid. Get rid of them.
Do they tell you that they're going to get rid of it?
No, not until after the fact. It's gone. He threw it out. And now, now there's grandkids and they're like, oh, why did we throw those out? He could have played with those toys. He had a lot of cool stuff. He's really into Ghostbusters now, which blows my mind, the staying power of Ghostbusters. But
wow,
apparently it's there. And like the new toys aren't as good as the old toys. And I used to have a bunch of Ghostbusters stuff. And now my mom's like, why did your dad throw that out? I was like, I don't know. You ask him. He doesn't keep anything. Oh, it's junking up the basement in this room that I never go into. There's this room that has no sheetrock on the walls. It's just the frame. It's made for storage. It's the only reason this space exists in this giant fucking house. And God forbid we've got stuff in it that we're storing.
Listen, your dad has to focus on something. There's too much storage in the storage.
Get rid of it. Unfucking believable. All this.
My mom kept all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it's the way to do it. I like keeping things. That's why I have to rescue things when I'm there. If there's anything left, I have to take it with me.
For real. Yeah, that's why I have my talk boy. And I have two what are those things that you put up against your eyes and it goes through the little scenes?
The Viewmaster?
Yes, Viewmasters. One's in 3D.
Yeah, because they're just offset a little bit.
Right.
The pictures, so it gives you that 3D look. It's cool. They're cool.
It is cool. I have a Care Bears, like, and all their layer that I definitely played with as a kid. I remember playing with that.
Well, mine's in a landfill somewhere.
It's so sad.
It's all gone. Who knows where?
And if you believe in like Toy Story, then they've all died together. They were all holding hands before they got incinerated.
Way to go, Dad.
Yep. You killed him.
I was just talking to him the other day, and he's like, I've almost repainted the whole house. I don't know what I'm going to do next. My God. It didn't even need to be repainted.
Just sit down, Dad.
No, never. He can't. It's impossible.
Well, then he'll die.
If he sits down?
Yes.
I know. That's always on the move.
Mm-hmm.
Always on the go.
He's just like you, afraid of death.
Except it plays out in different ways. I stay stagnant.
Just knowing death is coming.
Just waiting for it.
Nope.
Yeah, he's trying to outrun it, and I'm trying to hide from it.
Mm-hmm. Aw.
Neither will win.
What's your mom doing?
Neither will win. I don't know. Letting it consume her with her anxiety.
Yeah, she doesn't have anxiety.
She's just letting it eat away at her. Anyway.
As she makes little sounds like you do.
Anyway. Forget what I was saying, what the point was. You were saying you were
Being
spending
rich.
more money because you had money. Yeah, maybe being rich. Going back to my bit, I've already stated this point, but it really, if I had the money, I don't mind spending the money and I don't mind spending it on other people. But I do feel like there are people in your life at that point who just assume and expect you to spend the money on them in certain situations because you have it. And that would really fucking piss me off.
Yeah, for sure. Well, because then you're not being valued for anything that is genuine about you. It's an outside force.
And the obligation, me with obligations, like how fucking dare you? Whatever it means, whatever meaning is attached to a gesture is stripped away the moment you're expected to do it, as far as I'm concerned. There's a lot of people who take a different approach. I don't know. You're supposed to get people gifts on their birthday. And that's how you show meaning, by following the custom. It's like, no, the supposed to means that the gift is pointless. That's a bit extreme, I know, because you can still find a gift that's personalized and put thought into it and show the person that you care and maneuver outside of that box a bit. So, it's not a perfect example. But
yeah, because and supposed to doesn't mean that you don't want to do it and you do it anyway because you're supposed to. It could just be like, yeah, you're supposed to and I love it.
Yeah, I think Valentine's Day is probably better because getting people gifts is not something I completely resent.
So made up.
Well, it also depends on how the person approaches their birthday. If they approach it in a way where they do expect it, and we're going to have a big party, and you're going to do this, and you're going to do that, and this is the thing I want, so you better get then. Fuck you. If the other person's like, yeah, it's my birthday. Yeah, it means something to get a gift to most people. It's like, I'd be happy to do it because they didn't push it on me. But yes, Valentine's Day is always the example I revert to because fucking dumb.
It's really disguised as something real with the whole saint part of it. Saint Valentine.
Well, there's a thing that was minor, that was hijacked, commercialized, packaged, sold, then suddenly it became, if you don't do this thing, then you clearly don't love your significant other. And if
it's also very sort of reductionist to put women in this category of like, women love chocolate. They have orgasms when they eat them. Shut up.
A lot of women went along with it though. They
like
fed
anytime
into
you
it.
see those lint commercials, it's always some woman like eating a ball and like closing her eyes and like coming.
Well, lint. They're not even good chocolates. The Kit Kat.
Lint.
A Kit Kat will cause that orgasm, I feel. A York peppermint patty.
The Kit Kat commercials from like the 90s. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat.
Make me come. Make me come.
My husband can't give me an orgasm.
York peppermint patties, I think. Just the sound of them when you break them.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, that's sensual. That sets the mood. That's what I'm looking for in my candy.
Yeah. And then you have fresh breath for makeouts.
Yeah, which is better than the Junior Mint, which is goo. The inside's filled
I
with.
kind of like a Junior Mint.
Look, I look at Junior Mint too, but compared to the two, I go with the York. Doesn't put Junior Mint in the position of complete loss or failure. I like a Junior Mint, but
if you had the choice, you'd go for York.
Yeah, I'd go for the York. So if I were rich, I would buy people all the York peppermint patties in the world.
Yeah, you'd be the York from New York.
I like to think that I would live similarly. I wouldn't get a fancy car. I'd keep the same car. Would I upgrade an apartment? Sure. I think looking at the way most people live, not that I would ever live in the suburbs in a McMansion, but let's say I were. I feel like that would be plenty house. Those things are big enough. I'm like, all right.
Oh, absolutely. I do not understand those people that live in the gigantic houses.
So I feel like I would keep that. Like living in an apartment in New York where adding just a little bit can make the price increase by a whole lot.
Right.
I feel like having extra money. I mean, I guess, the place I'm living now, by most people's standards, not a mansion, not even that big of a place. By New York and the places I lived before and the places I could afford, it's a castle. Can you believe this? You got 2 stories, 2 full bathrooms. Unfucking believable.
2 full bathrooms?
Yeah, 2 full bathrooms.
Oh, I thought it was just like 1.5.
No, 2 full bathrooms.
You're fucking rich, bro.
Exactly. So, there's been a progression of my apartments as I've made more money. But I never really cared, I guess, that much in the moment when I was living in the other apartments. I really liked my last apartment. It was a good apartment for one person.
Mm-hmm.
And the apartment before that, it served its purpose.
Yeah.
By the end, I was sick of it. And mostly because it was dark and a shithole that had mice. But it was in a good location.
Yeah.
But it served its purpose, and I was happy to live there 7 years, where I feel as though most people wouldn't have wanted to put up with that. But it's part of what comes along with living in New York and making it. If I'd gotten married or had kids early on, there's no way I'd still be living here because you'd have to give it up at some point. It took...
Unless you had enough money.
Yeah, if you have enough money, you can stay, but I didn't. But I also didn't chase money. I still haven't really ever chased money in my life. And anything that I'm making now, which again, I'm not rich by any means.
No, not by any means.
I'm probably behind the curve, honestly, with a lot of people who set out to make money. That's why I say I'm not rich, because if a lot of these people, the way it's been set up, find out what I actually make, like that's nothing. I make double that.
Oh.
I make 1.5 times that. I don't know. That's what I feel like. So that's another reason I never really want to talk about it. But I've never chased it. Money to me it's there when you need it, and you can find it if you really need it. Clearly, I didn't need it or want it at many points in my life because I was willing to make just what I needed to get by, and there was no need for an advancement. I'm not saying that's the best way or the healthiest way to live, but there were plenty of years I'm like, yeah, you know what? I don't give a shit. I just need to make what I need to make so I can stay right here in this spot.
I think that's fine. I feel like that's part of growth, and experimenting with. Sorry, I have a dry spot in my throat. That's part of figuring out like how you want to live. What is the life that you're actually looking for? What makes you happy? What do you maybe want to change that will make you happier, or to fix some situation that just improves your life? I think that's fine that you went and went through all that. I don't think that's the thing about what is success. At some point, there's been sort of a standard of where you should be in your life at certain points, and that's a stupid metric. Everyone is different. Everyone is going through different things. And if you want to be a certain place by a certain time, you should look at why, right? Why do you want that? Is that just because it's what's expected, or is it something that will make you happy?
There are people who strive to be a member of the yacht club, and then there are people I think who get money and say, what am I going to do with this? Okay, I'll become a member of the yacht club.
Yeah, maybe they have a boat and that's what they're into. And then they talk about, boating with other people. There are people that like race regattas and stuff and come in and be like, I was running the race this morning.
Want to have sex now? Did you hear that? I was racing my boat. That's right. Bang me now. Other attitudes like that? I think that comes along with a lot of this stuff.
I haven't seen any like creeps like that.
I still feel like
I'm not at the main club. Maybe it's at the main club and not at the activity center.
I still have this idea. A lot of this behavior, even the striving to make a lot of money, is out of a desire to get laid, to set yourself apart from other men and then get laid.
I think, like I said, at the main club, I think that there is a little bit of that because it is more of a show-offy location, or a way to show off a little bit more than it is to just come and eat and hang out, stuff like that.
There's a level of it seems, when there's nothing left to do but show off. It's like, I got so much time on my hands. What can I do? It's time to show off.
No, but that's like what they say about new money is the show-offy part
Because
of new money.
old money knows how to do it with dignity.
I think they just know old money knows how to have money, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Whereas new money is like, I have money.
I'm not saying there's not a learning curve or that over time, like newfound riches surely will alter behavior. And that's where I fancy myself different. But you can never say unless you're in that situation.
Yeah.
I like to
mean,
think
maybe
that,
you wouldn't work and you would travel more.
sure, there would be things. It's mostly
Yeah.
about the flaunting of it.
Right.
And some of it can't be avoided just by default. If you're doing things for yourself and acquiring new things, some of that's going to be visible. I mean, it's like people like Keanu Reeves, who apparently helps a lot of charities and other people.
Yeah.
And it's just not publicized. And I think that's nice. That's the way to do it.
Remember when all that news was out about him and his girlfriend or his wife and how she's old? Did you see her? She's old.
Well, what's the idea there? One, she's not old, right?
No,
She's
she's like a normal woman.
the idea, he's rich, he's famous, he should be dating someone who's
Yeah.
young and hot,
Right.
and that he can show off as a trophy. I guess that's the idea that goes into it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. The standard for him and the standard for her. Like, why? Just leave. Can't people just exist?
Now, there's some people who would be happy to be the trophy. Look, you could
Right.
get into the yacht club. You've already got the inside track. You're there working. You can meet someone. Maybe someone who's above the activity center.
Ooh.
And it goes to the main club who
I'll never know anyone from the main club because I do not want to work there.
who races his wooden boat, his wooden speedboat.
Oh, it's wooden. It's like The Last Crusade, where it's like, this looks like the cup of a king.
Those wooden
No.
Now those wooden speedboats are a lot of money as opposed to
Man.
as opposed to the fiberglass ones, the old wooden
Yeah.
ones. Yeah, those people love those.
Oh, never mind.
I guess they're harder to keep up. They're
Sure,
probably
that makes sense. Wood.
all boats
water.
all boats are a money drain. Money suck.
Man, there are some big yachts out in the bay, though. It's pretty interesting.
They have crews, as you know. The reality TV shows have been made about the crews that work on the yachts.
I know it. I guess it like hangs out until it gets chartered, or maybe just someone just owns it and is super rich and like hires a crew. I don't know.
It's the embarrassment with money. The crew, hiring a crew, having... I think it's the status that comes along with it. It's not the money in itself. It's the way that people flaunt the status. And if you have a giant boat that needs a crew, then I guess you need a crew to run the boat. So you know what you're
Right.
getting into. Tying this back to going out, one of the reasons to eat, I don't like going out to eat. I don't like being served. I don't fucking like the dynamic. I don't like that someone, and I know that there's not really another way. I'm not going to go to the window and get the food myself. That's part of the whole thing, but I don't like it. I don't like critiquing the service. I don't like leaning into it. I don't like the idea that just the dynamic that comes into play by default. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. Like last night, I had to get the waiter's attention because I think they thought there were 5 of us and they pushed a table together. And I had to say, oh, there's only 4. And I hated calling the person over for that.
Oh,
I know it's not a big deal, but you have to look, you make eye contact, you wave your hand. Then there's the moment they think, what the fuck do you want? Jesus Christ, I don't even want to be here in the first place. And you think that you're better because you're sitting down.
oh my
I
God.
have to take away your dirty fucking dishes. It's true. Someone's taking away your filth. They're taking your filth. That's what I pay for.
Oh,
Well, good.
whatever. So I judge more people when they barely eat any of their food and then don't want a box. You're like, all right, I'll just throw away all this food.
I judge that too. That's a waste. That's a strange thing. Why do people do that?
Well, some people do that, and then other people order all this food for their kids, and then their kids don't touch it, and then I take it to the back, and like the bussers and the dishwashers eat it.
You have to keep an eye on it, then make sure they don't put their grubby booger hands all over it.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it matters. Kids fucking stick their fingers on their butt and smell it and don't wash their hands. You know this is true.
Of course I know that's true. I have kids.
So it does matter. I wouldn't want
whatever.
I wouldn't want to eat
Your
their
body, very powerful.
When he some kids poop.
They weren't at the table sticking their finger in their butts and then touching their chicken tender and then not eating it.
They probably were.
I mean, that's a possibility, but I feel like it's very small compared. I mean, when you're you're in a dining room.
I think it's a high possibility.
You know, they always give me the tables with kids.
She's good with them.
I am. I really like it. I actually really like it because I really like hooking up the parents and not making them feel bad that their kids are annoying or like helping them if their kids are being a pain.
Yeah, because I do the opposite. I'm gonna make sure you fucking know how annoying your kids are. I'm gonna make sure you are
not me.
ashamed.
I'm like, I got. Sorry, I said I got you. You know, like, what do you need? I got it. What do you do? What do you? How can I make your time with your annoying kids better? Like, let's get their food out first so that they go up to the kids' room and then you guys can get twisted down here.
Yeah, and then drive home.
I know. Well,
nobody's going to stop me. I own the police.
I did put a yacht club Burgee flag on my car because police are less likely to tow yacht club members.
Oh my God. It's a whole other realm we didn't get into.
I know.
There is a sense of entitlement that comes along with it. Just having money in general. And I don't like that.
Yeah.
That conflict with my desire for modesty.
Right.
And even outside of that, because you can still be modest and not entitled. There's a middle ground. Just this entitlement. You tow me? I'm a member of the yacht club. Oh, I'm sorry.
I put a lot of money into this community.
I pay your salary.
Well, I mean, that's a great way to get out of a ticket or to get out of trouble. I pay your salary.
I'll stop paying my taxes and then see where your salary goes.
Okay. Good luck.
All right, so tonight, has anyone ever tried to, like a dad and the mom goes away with the kids and then he propositions you?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, dignified behavior within the walls of the yacht club.
There is a guy, I don't know if he's married, but he looks like Maynard from Tool. And he owns, you know that store in the mall? It's like DTLR.
No.
I don't really know it either. I think I've just seen it. But anyway, he owns that store in Annapolis Mall. And for some reason, I was kind of attracted to him when I was serving him.
DTLR Villa, your fashion, your lifestyle. Men's footwear. It's a footwear store?
Oh, it is?
That's what it seems to be.
All right.
I don't know if it's the same place. Who is DTLR?
It's not a, it's a...
I just looked up DTLR and then...
Sneakers, sportswear, accessories for adults and kids. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not a shoe store, is it? It's
I think it's a shoe store. Maybe they have belts. Maybe they have gloves.
No, they have clothing. They have sportswear.
I'm just saying shoes. I don't know anything about it.
I don't really either, but I don't think it's just shoes.
I think the point remains. The person owns a store chain.
Yeah. And he looks like Maynard from Tool. I was like, wow.
One day, soon you'll be a member on the other side.
One day.
Then there'll be stories of, I saved her from that. Do you know she used to serve here? She used to be a server here.
That's the last thing I need.
And the parents won't like it. Then the husband, well, the future husband, the man will have to rebel against his parents and they'll have a falling out. And they're the ones.
Wait, his parents?
Yeah, his parents. Because they have high...
78-year-old parents?
Yeah, of course. They have high expectations for their son who hasn't
Whatever, he
settled down.
probably supports them.
No, they worked hard to get into the yacht club, and the only reason he's there is because of them. Nepotism.
Oh, you think he's like a legacy member? Like his parents were members, and so you have to be a member?
And then they have expectations on how he should live his life, and you, server. Like
a lowly server.
Yeah, it takes a long time. There's a lot of work that has to go into it, and at some point, he ditches you because he's falling into the trap his parents are laying. He's like, you know what, they're right. I can't do this. And then he eventually comes around. The next thing you know, you're on the yacht bossing around the staff. And
listen, and I used to be a server, so I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
The forks and the knives are not supposed to be on the same side of the plate. Please
Don't-
serve me my beverages on the right and my food from the left. I mean, who doesn't know this?
Don't even think about eating my leftovers. I'll have you know that before I finished with my last bite, I shoved my finger in my ass and then touched all the food on the plate. So if you want to eat it, you're eating my shit.
That's right. A kid taught me that. Thank you, everyone. Please like and subscribe, rate and review. Use all of your money to support our sponsor, heartandpepper.com.
You liked when
use
people sent you money. You liked that.
Oh, that was really nice.
You made $75 or something.
Woo! I appreciate that a lot. It was really, really nice.
What was your Cash App again? You just go for it. Ask for the money.
Autopritz. AUTOPRITTS.
Yeah. Get that money.
Support our sponsor, heartandpepper.com. Use our code OneTopic15 for 15% off hot sauce. It's awesome. Do it. Bye.